जॉब के साथ सिलेबस नहीं रखा हुआ, क्या चार्ज है सर? तो आईटीएम्स वगैरह हैं। कल मैं देता है ना, इसको देना है। मैंने अभी तेरे पास क्या राइटिंग में है, कुछ इसमें रखा है क्या? अगर मुझे पूरी रखा है।
I request all the judges to kindly check with your audience sets and please switch on your cameras.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you.
Good morning.
Much clear. Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Our pleasure.
I request Himangi ma'am to kindly switch on the camera and mic.
Am I audible? Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Very good morning. And most welcome. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Same here, ma'am. I request the participants to kindly check again.
Are we audible?
Yes, thank you so much, APS Nagrota. I request you.
Hello. Good morning. Ma'am, are we audible? Ma'am, are we audible? Ma'am, are we audible now?
Very much audible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, are we audible? Am I audible? Am I audible?
This mic है मेरे कल
Ma'am, are we audible?
Not clear. APS Srinagar, your voice is not clear.
We have 4 mics.
Ma'am, are we audible now?
Still not clear. I request you to check again.
Are we audible now?
Yeah, much better.
साइड माइक से हमें प्रॉब्लम होता है, प्लीज सर प्लीज इनका देखिए।
Is there any other audio set you can just arrange?
We are not audible from sides, these way we are okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We'll arrange it.
Sir, we will should bring this one more mic. वो हमारे पास
Speak again.
मेरे पास फोन
Yes, ma'am. We're arranging.
Not actually.
कैमरा में
I think it's just many mics are open at the same time.
no.
Ma'am, we are now arranging for a new mic. Are we audible now?
Not very much clear. I request you to use this center mic.
Ma'am, are we audible now?
Not really.
Ma'am, are we audible now? Ma'am, are we audible now? Ma'am, are we audible now?
Not actually. Your voice is not high actually. It's very low.
Ma'am, are we audible now?
Yeah,
It's
we
not-
can hear you. Like I can hear them, but the voice is feeble, a bit feeble. Better raise your volume अगर हो सकता है तो.
Ma'am, are we audible now?
Yeah, much better. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Ma'am, are we audible now?
Not on this mic, the other one.
This one, try this
The
one.
previous one.
Are we audible now?
Yes, much better.
Idris, you try. Idris, let it be there.
Ma'am, are we audible?
जोर से बेटा.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
Ethics propels your visions and makes you fulfill your mission. Ethics backed up by determination will bring about realization. Ethics travel across the sea in order to obtain the key. Ethics never gives in to the worry, nor will it choose to. This makes the difference between failure and excellence. Give ethics a place in your heart. Cherish, nurture it so that it won't depart. Nobody can oppose a man of ethics. A very good morning to praiseworthy juries, the notable teachers, the blooming orators, and the speakers. Today, we are gathered here in the aura of Ethical Weekend, where ethical dilemmas are discussed, analyzed, meets deepening awareness, and enriches refined outgrowth. I'm sure together we are embarking the journey, agreeing to disagree with grace. Indeed, it is a glorified day where we push the boundaries of understanding and reach out their ethical voices for the betterment of society. It's my privilege to be the hostess of this prestigious event on behalf of the Secretary of the event, Principal APS Udhampur, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar. I, Inderpal Kaur, extend our warm greetings to the August gathering for the prestigious Northern Command AWWA Ethics Bowl 2024. Day 4, quarter finale, stage 2. I'm sure this day will embark the journey of learning and growing together. I really owe Mrs. Asha Suchindra, Regional President, our Northern Command, who took her keen interest for the commencement of Ethics Bowl 2024. We welcome you all again. Allow me to kindly acknowledge the presence of our eminent dignitaries for today, who have contributed dedicatedly to education industry as well as nation by adding many feathers in their caps gracefully. So without any ado, our first eminent jury is Mrs. Himangi Arora. Mrs. Himangi Arora is a seasoned academic individualist working as the head business acquisition and management for leadership schools. She is the empowering woman to become financially independent and hand-holding them in their entrepreneurship journey. She is the founder of Nirmuketan Foundation and Managing Director Project Swabhiman. She is setting baby steps towards formalizing agro studies in the middle school education system. A learner by heart, a coach by choice, has worked with profound school managements like Seth Anandram, Jaipurias, Vanastali Public School, Children's Academy Ghaziabad for more than 15 years, now building the leader group of schools. Thank you, ma'am. We are gracious with your presence. Ma'am, would you like to share some words of wisdom to boost their confidence?
Yeah, thank you so much for this honor. When I am here, I just want to have all ears to the kids because I was eagerly waiting for this session. This is the most beautiful initiative of the foundation that has been laid for the country, because value system is something which is definitely needed, and the gracious jury as well as the kids, those who are here, well prepared, I'm very sure about it, for the case studies that have been given to them. I am very sure that whatever they are speaking, they're going to implement it whenever they find an appropriate opportunity in their lives. So, looking forward to all the dialogues today. Thank you so very much for inviting me here.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure your inspiring words will definitely guide them for betterment of the society. Next in the row, we have Mr. Sanjay Yadav. Mr. Sanjay Yadav is the principal of Alcohol International School, Delhi. He always introduces himself as a student, and that tells us about his journey as a learner and mentor. Learning curves of masters in physics gained an exponential high when taught by practicing scientists from ISRO. He finds it as unparalleled journey with children, as he was personally blessed and inspired by none other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam to carry forward his passion of interacting and reaching out to as many as children as possible. According to Sir, there can be no better investment than educating the young ones. Sharing and caring continued in a journey of little over 33 years now. While working in schools of national and international repute under par excellent mentorship, he has successfully completed Leading Change. He has done a CSML course from Harvard School of Education. He has been actively involved in the development of subject matters with NCRT, implementing mentoring of CBSE procedures and training programs. He has written articles on various educational aspects, series of articles for popularizing science as well as parenting tips. Thank you, sir. We are grateful for your presence. Sir, I request you to kindly share your inspiring words for these budding speakers.
A very good morning, and once again, I extend my compliments to the organizers to give this opportunity to me. And as you have very rightly said, a student is here to learn from these young educators, I would say. And fortunately, I have been a part of this format of competition earlier also. And it's such a beautiful format. So much of learning happens, and especially the thought process. The way our children think, because the only way we can bring reality and the practices can match with our thoughts and their actions is when we are able to bridge those gaps. So it's very, very insightful for us to listen to their views, understand their insights, and bring solutions. So this is a world in which we are all sailing together. And as you mentioned it rightly, yes, more than discussing a case study or presenting it, it is the ethics behind it. How does it add to the value education system? How does it enhance the life skill? And how will we be able to carry it forward to the community for the larger benefit of community? So these are going to be my takeaway. And that's why I'm very excited. And my greetings to fellow judges here. Namaskar to everyone. And let's look forward to a great day ahead. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Very well said, sir. Thank you so much, sir. May you achieve many laurels in life ahead and keep inspiring us. Next in the row, our third esteemed jury is Mr. K.B. Jad. Mr. K.B. Jad is a principal PRFS Aditya Birla Group Schools. Sir is deeply involved as he has 27 years of experience in educational sector. He is a certified resource person of CBSE for training principals and teachers in pedagogical leadership. He has conducted more than 50 workshops for principals and teachers of Noida region CBSE schools. He has attended many leadership programs in IIM Ahmedabad, Harton Business School US, Singapore Management Institute, and Birla Management Institute. He has visited schools in US, Bangkok, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Sir, we are delighted with your presence. Sir, I request you to kindly share your words of wisdom with these orators.
Very good morning to all of you. First and foremost, I would like to thank all the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this unique event. Fortunately, I have been a part of this event in past also, and it's a great learning event for all of us, whether we are in the jury or we are the audience or the participants. There's this particular event is different in a way that it is not what you actually call as debating, but it is something which is related to ethics and values, and where you train children to respect each other's views and opinions, and that is what is required in their youth, for that matter, for everybody. It's not confrontation or having a lot of those arguments, but how you respect others' views and opinions, and at the same time put forward your own opinion also. And it's always a pleasure to listen to these young students, the leaders of tomorrow. And more than anything else, it's a learning for us, as sir also told us now. And particularly, I find it very special event because, and I look forward to this event the whole year. And because I'm also in a way associated with Army schools, because I started my teaching career from Army school only, was long back in early 90s. And I worked for Army school for many years. And then I shifted to other schools. So I wish all the teams all the best, and I thank all the organizers for this wonderful event. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, all the esteemed juries of the day. We are thankful for making your valuable presence possible for this intellectual stimulating session today. Now I welcome the timer judge of today, Mrs. Shreya Jambal.
Good morning, everyone. All the very best, dear participants. May the spirit of ethics guide our way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request all the rising speakers to kindly give their introduction one by one. Team APS Nagrota, kindly introduce yourself.
Greetings everyone, myself Saransh and I am a presenter of Team APS Nagrota.
Greetings everyone. I am Triona Sarkar and I am also a presenter of APS Nagrota. Good morning to everyone. My name is Praguni Vazir and I am also a presenter from APS Nagrota. Good morning everyone. My name is Swasha Sarkar and I am also a presenter from Team APS Nagrota.
Greetings everyone, I am Nikhil Bhatt and I am a researcher of Team APS Nagrota.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ankit Singh, and I am a researcher of APS Nagrota.
Thank you, Team APS Nagrota. All the very best. Now, Team APS Srinagar, kindly introduce yourself one by one.
Warm greetings to my respected delegates.
Your voice is not clear, Team APS Srinagar.
Warm greetings to my respected delegates and judges. We are the students of
Still not clear. Your words are not clear.
Warm greetings to my respected delegates and judges.
I request, please check your audio set again.
You should check.
I request the other school team to kindly check if their voice is audible to you and the judges also. I request APS Srinagar to kindly speak.
Good morning, ma'am. This is teacher in charge from APS Nagrota, and APS Srinagar is feebly audible, ma'am. They're not that much audible to us.
Thank you so much.
Maybe APS Srinagar, you could use the computer audio itself instead of using the mic. That could be
Computer audio use karo. The computer audio. Disconnect the mic.
Okay, बेटा ये सर यहाँ पे कुछ सेटिंग करनी पड़ेगी. Last time हमने
Are we audible?
Yes, much better now. Thank you so much. I request you to kindly start your introduction one by one.
Warm greetings to my respected delegates and judges. We are the students of APS Srinagar. My name is Aisha Faraz from 9P and I am the speaker.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Karshi Patient from class 9A and I am the speaker. Good morning, respected judges.
Your voice is not audible, beta.
Good morning, respected judges.
Not clear.
Good morning, respected judges. I am Adhay Sandeep from Team APS Srinagar. I am a class 11 science student.
Your voice is also not clear. Please come closer. I request you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Idris from class 10B and I am a speaker for APS Srinagar.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ayurveda from class 9A and I am a researcher. Good morning, everyone. My name is Budul Bhatt and I am the researcher.
Thank you, Team APS Srinagar. First of all, I heartily congratulate for reaching out the next step of this momentous event. All the very best. May Almighty bless your endeavors and pave the way for fruitful outcome beyond your imagination. Before we start quarter finale stage 2 of AWWA Northern Command Ethics Bowl 2024, I would like to take an opportunity to spin the wheel of fortune today to know which team will be the presenter and responder of the ray. So let's spin the wheel of fortune. I request the judges to kindly note down. Team APS Srinagar will be the presenter and Team APS Nagrota will be the responder. It is the first step of every competition to have a set of rules in order to bring in discipline and uniformity. And judging can be fair to every team as it applies universally. Now, I will be reading out the course of action for the understanding of participants and juries. Kindly listen to it attentively. Each team will be given 8 minutes to present, including answering the ethical questions put up by the moderator at the end of the case study. A reminder bell will be given after 6 minutes, and the final bell will be given after 8 minutes to sum up the case. After that, 1 mark will be deducted for every minute excluding the time limit. The other team will be given 3 to 4 minutes to confer and 5 minutes to comment. A bell will ring at the end of 5 minutes. The other team is required to ask maximum of 2 questions to presenter team post their commentary. The presenter team will be given 3 to 4 minutes to confer and come back with their answers. No cross-questioning by the other team is allowed. The presenter team is required to answer the questions put up by the other team within 5 minutes. The team can decide whether all members will speak or only one member will speak. A reminder bell will ring at the end of 5 minutes. After this, the judges will ask 1 question. They are allowed to cross-question the presenter team member. The presenter team member will get 3 to 4 minutes to confer and get back with their answer. Once the next team starts, the same format will be repeated again. I hope the rules are clear to you. It is rightly said by Nelson Mandela, a good head, good heart are always formidable combination. But when you add to that a literate tongue or pen, then you have something very special. So let's start with first open-minded discussion today. And the case study for Team A, APS Srinagar. Title of the case study is Balancing Between Kids and Smartphones. Mobile phones or cell phones have undeniably revolutionized our lives over the years, becoming integral to modern communication and connectivity. Technology has made our life quite easier. Life without a mobile phone seems to be quite impossible these days. Precisely, we become handicapped without a phone in hand. Speaking of mobile phones, it is also referred to as cellular phone or smartphone. Smartphones are now both blessing and a curse. Earlier, it was only used for calling, but these days, everything is possible through a mobile phone, from sending a message to video calling, internet browsing, photography to video games, emailing, and a lot more services can be availed through this handful phone. The misuse of mobile phones has become a major concern. The biggest abuse of mobile phones is their excessive use. People, including kids, spend countless hours on their phones, scrolling down social media and playing games, which leads to addiction and have negative effects on their mental and physical health. Another abuse of mobile phone is cyberbullying. Morphed images and videos circulated on the internet with social sites is also a serious threat, especially teenagers, and risk associated with primary age children having a smartphone is the chance of them experiencing cyberbullying. Be willing to be the worst. Parents, however, it is not easy dealing with kids when they hate you. They may come as a spoiler alert, but at the point, all kids hate their parents. That being said, you have to stick to your guns, even when your kids are having a breakdown about phone boundaries. So question for Team APS Srinagar. What is the downside of mobile phone usage? How to strike a balance between reaping the benefit and mitigating the risk? I hope the questions are clear to you. I request Team APS to kindly start with your empowering discussion. All the very best for your presentation. You will be given 8 minutes to present your answer, and your time starts now.
Now, me along with my teammates will be shedding some light on the following case study. The mobile space is so big, powerful, and pointless that for some people, it is an absolute substitute of life itself. Andrew Brown. We have seen that mobile phones have brought a new technological era towards the world. We have seen that they have made new advancements and have caused people to be able to connect with each other in a much more faster and easier way. Of course, this will bring a lot of benefits, but it will also bring colossal damages as well, because the entire world can be compressed and put into your palm through a small technological device. Some disadvantages of mobile phones I will brief you upon. There are educational, mental, and physical disadvantages of mobile phone usage. Educational disadvantages are as follows. Attention span. Attention span is something that we have seen over the past 20 years has decreased from 2.5 minutes to 45 seconds, says the Northeastern University professor Art Kremer. This is obviously detrimental to your academic performance, because if you're not able to focus on something your teachers are saying, how will you be able to write your exams? Next comes into the physical aspect. Your routine is disrupted because of the fact that you will continuously use your phone late in the night and wake up late in the morning. Some things that are related to sleeping late and waking up late are insomnia, metabolic consequences, weight gain, cardiovascular disease, and much, much more. Some mental aspects related to overusage of phones are as follows. Insecurities in teenagers brew because of the fact that they see unrealistic standards all over the internet. They are not able to realize that people are tricking them into believing that they live perfect lives. A study by the STEM4 ED and Body Image Survey say that 97% of children now as young as 12 are on social media. And 89% of them are either dissatisfied with their body, appearance, or life. All of these things combined together make you realize how harsh reality can be and how harsh the virtual reality can be too. Mixed together, this will cause a lot of pain for children. As adults and as parents, what we need to do is to teach them the guidelines and make them aware about the dangers lurking on the internet too. Some dangers are AI morphing too. AI morphing is a new type of advancement which makes sexually explicit for images of people without their consent and broadcasted all over the internet. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, says that people as young as 11 are now targets of this. More than 50% of sexual advances towards children occur between the ages of 12 and 15, and almost 89% of those happen in instant messaging and online chat rooms. All of this combined can tell you that we need to protect our children from this new era. This is a reign of terror for some people as well, because we cannot keep ourselves confined in the shackles of the mobile world. I would like to end this with the overusage of something is not classified as a hobby, it is classified as addiction. Now I would like to pass my comments to Kashvi.
बूढ़ी हो गई नन्ही आंखें, आ गया चश्मों का दौर, डब्बे में बंद खेल खिलौने, चुप है वो बचपन के शोर. Dearest delegates, the ethical concerns of this case study are as follows. First, addiction. 48% of the global population is addicted towards mobile phone. This is because using phones increases the level of a hormone known as dopamine in our body, which makes us happy. Second, behavioral changes. Those who use mobile phone can experience behavioral changes. For example, sleep pattern. The decrease in the sleep pattern is due to the decrease in the hormone level of melatonin or the sleep hormone. Third is cyberbullying. People, mostly teenagers, can get influenced by anyone or anything easily because they have a developing mind. They try to fit themselves into the unrealistic beauty standards and other trends, due to which they become the victim of cyberbullying. The fourth ethical issue is our health issue. Excessive use of mobile phone can damage our mental and physical health. For example, it can cause carpal tunnel disease, eye strains, and it can also increases the risk of dementia and Alzheimer. At the last, I would like to say, जब तक फोन वायर से बंधा हुआ था, तब तक इंसान आजाद थे, और अब जब फोन वायर से आजाद हो चुके हैं, तब इंसान ही फोन से बंध गए. Now, Idris will walk you through the real life examples.
Thank you for the
Your voice is not audible. Team APS Srinagar, your voice is not audible.
Dearest delegates, it is my
You can
son.
probably shift your
Please
position.
place the mic properly.
Don't use the mic. Come at the center and speak from there. That would be better.
Dearest delegates,
Not very clear, still not audible.
Can you swap places and shift your seat?
dearest delegates, without further ado,
Still not clear, beta. I request you to please kindly adjust or use other audio set.
dearest delegates, I would like to start my speech by saying that results have revealed that a higher percentage of children have
Still not very much clear. Judges, I request you, is their voice audible to you?
Not too clear.
now I would like
Not
to,
very clear.
I would like to
I
pass
think
on
the
to
teacher in charge may try to fix it so that, they speak
The
very.
swapping place will help, I think. Yeah, that's right.
We have stopped your timer also.
Without mic, you can speak using computer audio, and that will be fine.
Am I audible?
Yeah, better.
Yes, much better. Thank you so much. You have 2 minutes to sum up your case.
Yes, Advait. Now I would like to pass all my opinions to Advait. Thank you, Idris, for showing us
Your voice is not audible again.
Thank you, Idris, for showing us that great boon and yet at the same time that great curse known as the mobile phone. Now, our team's answer to the first question, as what is the dark side of mobile phones, is a mobile phone is known by most people as an addiction trap. And it causes disruptive sleep patterns.
Your voice is not audible again.
Yes, ma'am. It causes disrupted sleep patterns, digital eye strain, text net, sedentary lifestyle, cognitive impact to the brain centers, and radiation concerns from overusage of mobile phones. Now, our answer to the second question is that in our house, we should create some screen-free zones where mobile phones should not be used. We should also regulate ourselves by using apps like your app, which after a certain time limit on a certain app has been reached, that app gets locked and will not be accessible till the next day. We can also activate some parental control features on children's phones and devices, and also an application known as Parent Go, which allows parents to see what all content their children are watching on their phones, and if any blocked or restricted content is trying to be accessed, the parents get an immediate notification about it. Now, there is also an application called Phone Lock, where if a person believes that they have used their phone for too long, they can lock it for as long as they want, and only emergency calls can be made. Now, we would like to rest our case with this quote by Larry Page. Children are the captains on ships known as mobile phones, and they should learn how to navigate that dark ocean known as the internet without hitting the icebergs known as addiction.
That's all from your side.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am, because we have not been able to resolve our microphone issue.
You still have time.
Thank you, Advait, for those valuable comments. As I was not able to speak
Still have
earlier,
10 seconds.
I would like to continue Advait's thoughts, which I was not able to pursue earlier. Results have revealed that a higher percentage.
Time is up now. I must say it was a question of thoughts. Discussions can serve as a platform for intellectual growth, challenging us to think beyond our comfort zone. So moving ahead, Team B, you have 4 minutes to confer, after which you will present your summary and you will pose 1 or 2 questions to Team A. Kindly note that you have to pose both the questions together and your conferring time starts now.
I think I'm not able to hear anything. Am I audible to you people? No, I can't hear you.
Excuse me, ma'am, the timer is not reflecting. We are not getting how much time is left.
Screen sharing karo screen. You're left with 1 minute 19 seconds.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
How much? Time is not visible. Ma'am, कितना टाइम था? Present your comments and kindly pose both the questions to team A, and the time given is 5 minutes and your time starts now.
Dear friends, we have clearly listened to your case study and understood it well. So your presentation was sufficient, but we would like to shed some thoughts of us over this. So we agree upon the thought that there are loads and loads of risks associated with the use of technology, whether it be online predators or just some people harnessing our data and morphing us to inappropriate content. You mentioned that mobile phones are a curse, but then how do you explain that we are connecting in this meeting? Technology has indeed created vast possibilities for us to confer. Educational and capsule courses are a very essential resource for today's youth. Taking the consideration of Paytm, it has increased its productivity as well. Passing on to my team.
Thank you so much. I agree and comprehend whatever the opposition team has said, but I would like to state my own opinion. Mobile phones are essential because we have seen the COVID-19 pandemic and how online schooling was important and students needed their phones. Technological advancements have taken place and the IT sector is boosting, but employment would be hindered if we stop using mobile phones. Also, are we ready to go 50 years back when there were no mobile phones? Mobile phones help us stay connected with our fellow peers and our parents. Human mind has the ability to control our actions and not mobile phones as they are non-living. I would like to state a quote by John Milton. The human mind has the capacity to make heaven out of hell and hell out of heaven. I would like to pass it on to my fellow teammate.
Thank you. In your presentation, you stated well-grounded points in order to justify your stance. But I believe that you've totally neglected the other side of the spectrum. Don't you think that smartphones can offer children numerous benefits, such as educational apps and resources? They can also provide a sense of security for parents, knowing they can reach their children easily. Taking a recent example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, don't you think that without mobile phones, which one of your speakers called a curse, 2 years of students would go in vain? Passing it on to my team.
Yes, I also believe in these points. And I would also like to state a real life example of technology positively impacting children's lives. It is the story of Malala Yousafzai. Malala, a Pakistani activist for female education, used technology to advocate for girls' right to education despite facing opposition from the Taliban. Now, I would like to cite your questions. Considering the role of smartphones in fostering social connections and support networks, is it ethical to limit children's access to these devices, potentially isolating them from their peers and hindering their social development? The other question is, smartphones can be crucial in emergency situations, allowing children to contact help and ensure their safety. The ability of smartphones to provide immediate assistance and communication in emergencies highlights their importance. Considering the safety and security that smartphones can offer to children in emergency situations, is it ethical to deny them access to these devices, potentially putting them at a greater risk when they need immediate help? Thank you.
Ma'am, you are not audible. I hope teammates are clear with the questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, teammate, you have 4 minutes to prepare your answer, and after that, you have to present your answer in 5 minutes. And your time starts now. Team A, your time is up now. Be ready to present your answers, and the time given is 5 minutes, and your time starts now.
Connecting is what phones were made for, but now they are no longer for the purpose of communication. They have become for the purpose of people to fulfill their virtual reality. You said that you gave examples of the COVID-19 pandemic and how it helped people in communication. Yes, we do believe phones were made to be communicable devices, but now they are not used for that simply. We do agree that communication is a very important factor of using phones. But one thing you should realize is that in the COVID-19 pandemic, people faced a lot of problems because it was not effective. They were getting distracted. And you still wonder, mobile phones compress the entire world into the palm of your hand, and you can access absolutely anything you want. So during that time, why would you want to focus on your education when you could look at something else? We are not talking about banning phones at all. We know the importance. We know that society has configured around them now, and if we were to discard them, then it would cause a huge problem in our society. And it has become something that we cannot ignore any longer. So we're not talking about banning them from our spaces, not at all. Everybody needs their phones, whether it's for security or simply for entertainment. Now coming to your questions. You said that social connection is very important. I would like to ask you, social media and whatever you see on the virtual reality is not a real connection. It is something that is formed through the imperfect eyes. It is something that you believe is true, but it is not. Man has two versions of himself, one who he wishes to be and one who he truly is. On social media, everybody seems to live a perfect life. On the internet, everybody seems to spread false information. And combined with that of a naive child, do you think he will be able to understand what is right and what is wrong? This is not social connection. This is bearing yourself from the rest of the world. People who indulge themselves too much into virtual reality will never be able to combat reality in itself. Now we come to the second question. You say that smartphones are a key part of communication because they also helped in the COVID-19 pandemic and other things. Yes, communication is super duper important. That's how humans talk with each other every single day. But how far can we say that it's just communication when it is causing so many detrimental effects to our youth? The fact that people are being sexually exploited online, the fact that more than 89% of these sexual advances occur in internet chat rooms and logins. Do you think that parents should not tell their children how to manage themselves on the internet? No, we're not saying that you have to take them phone every single time. You have to punish them by taking away their technological things. Not at all, because a child deserves the freedom to have whatever he needs. But in this situation, when the child does not know what is right and wrong for him, then that's when you need to step up. Because a man is not free until he is forced to be. A child does not know the limitations he has or the freedom that he has. He thinks the freedom is just scrolling on his phone, looking at whatever he wants, being on his mobile space. But in reality, the freedom is the fact that he's able to protect himself from the harm that emerges in these things as well. Because if he is not able to protect himself from harm, how is he free? How is he free if he cannot protect himself from all of the cruel things emerging online? It is the fact that parents, the people, the guardians, the people who, the mothers who put their children in their womb for 9 months, if those children are scarred for the rest of their life just because of the internet, don't you think they would feel angry? Don't you think that they will feel scared and fearful for their children? That is exactly why parents should make proper guidelines, not guidelines where they're restricting their kids. Not at all. What they should restrict them from is something that is important to be restricted from, like sexual advances, like AI exploitation, and so much more. This will all affect the child at the later ends of its life. And if a child is not able to properly educate himself, and if it's not properly able to look on the right path of society, he will not be able to flourish into an intellectual human being. We would like to rest our case. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much. I must say it was a wonderful deliberation of thoughts. Now it's time for judges' question. I request jury 1, Mrs. Himangi Arora, to kindly pose your question to team A.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I think both the teams did really well to bring up the topic. And I just want to know that what is, as the presenters stated it very correctly, I just wanted to understand that what kind of research have you done to understand how can you do this? How a parent can control the child? How the parent can have the proper guidelines? And are there any guidelines marked from the specific bodies wherein the control is in the hands of the IT people who are developing the things? Are there any controls provided from the providers? Are you aware of those, or it's just a thought कि अच्छा parents को तो guidelines होना चाहिए? Do you have solutions to this? That's what I'm looking for.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Are you ready, team A?
Yes, ma'am, we are ready.
You will be given 4 minutes to confer, and after that you are supposed to present your answers, and your time starts now. Your time is up now. Kindly present your answer.
Thank you, ma'am, for your thought-provoking question. Now, our answer to your first question is that the research has been done as the Women and Children branch of the Indian government itself has stated that a parent, especially a parent, can see whatever their child is doing. As even Instagram agrees with this, Facebook agrees with this, Snapchat agrees. As if you want to create an 18 plus account, you have to show your own biological data, as if an Aadhaar card, a PAN card, a birth certificate, for instance. Now, guidelines. My uncle himself is a developer in India, and I helped him in developing the stated act that I showed, Parent Go. I helped him with the research on the Indian guidelines. Now, parents have every right to control their children's electronic devices, as parents have trusted the child and given them the device. But showing that they trust them, that they have trust, is why they gave a device. Now, if they want to make sure that their trust is not broken, it is their choice. It is their own right to do this. Now, I would like to pass it on to Aisha to answer the second part.
Thank you so much for your thought-provoking and intellectual question, ma'am. To answer the second part of your question, where you asked us about the parental guidelines and what guidelines and the should be set, let's take an answer to that. The thing is that the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, COPPA in itself, also encourages parents to talk to their children about the awareness and the dangers of social media and the internet in its entirety. Because this is something that we have previously also said, that the mobile space grants you the compressed version of the entire world right on the palm of your hand. The amount of power that you have in that situation is huge. So if you're not able to control what you can see and what you cannot see for your child and for the betterment of your child, then it will cause damage to them, both mentally and physically. As I said previously, a man is not free unless he is forced to be. These parental guidelines have been enforced by every single type of internet security organization in the world. COPPA in itself is an international site and it has always encouraged its people. Even YouTube was about to be sued by COPPA once in 2019 because it failed to follow the regulations set by COPPA stating that children should be protected from certain type of media. Now, this is something if higher organizations can do, why can't parents do? Because parents are the people who gave birth to their children in the first place, not these organizations. Children should be follow the guidelines of their parents too, because they should realize that even if they may hate their parents once in their lifetime, their parents only want what is best for them. And those guidelines should always be met and followed, because trust is something that can easily be broken, but it's very hard to acquire. Thank you.
Email, that's all for your side.
Yes, ma'am.
Very well answered, Team A. Now I request Himangi ma'am to kindly ask for your query.
So I think one side of the perspective is definitely taken in a beautiful way, but I still would connect with the students stating I had been looking forward to a solution. What is to be done ethically is everywhere present. How can you bring things on board and help parents to understand this? Because parents definitely have rights, but then what happens between the relationship, between the children and their parents? That is also something which is a very important point to be taken.
Ma'am, thank you for your question. Now, ma'am, as we just heard right now, ma'am, you have your own little daughter. Ma'am, wouldn't you do anything to protect her from whatever is going on the internet? Ma'am, wouldn't you, if you gave her a phone, wouldn't you install goodness knows what all blockers like from Kaspersky, Ayrton, Norton, anything? You will download it to protect your child from any dangerous material in the internet. Our parents will do the same thing. Now, in ethically, there is the only ethical solution is you have to download it, because a parent does not have to care if anything is ethically right or morally right. They will care for their children. They will not care if the child will take them to court, but they will always make sure the child is safe and grows up to become a good human being. Thank you, ma'am.
I request ma'am to kindly ask for the query again.
All right, so I think I am not able to quote what I'm stating. My question is not that how are parents liable to get the things in place. My question is what tool required, what do they need to see, because they actually have to do something. So आप जिन guidelines के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, those guidelines are present or not, are they existing or not? Are you aware of those guidelines? Because parents definitely have lack of knowledge of those guidelines, because of which we are discussing this point today. We can easily understand that parents are not aware. Are there any resources available where they can see, check, and understand what is supposed to be done with the toddler, keeping the rights, dignity, ethics in place? That was my question. Anyways, I would look forward to the research work later. Would not take much time at the moment.
Absolutely, ma'am. Team AP Srinagar.
Yes, ma'am. We would like to thank you.
Your voice is not audible, Team APS.
We would like to thank you for your question. And to answer your question, you asked for solutions and whether these guidelines are actually there or not. Yes, there are so many different kinds of parents in the world. There are parents ranging from people who are older to younger, and most of them do not know the guidelines set by organizations themselves. Something that they can find here is first the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The FBI has a whole category just dedicated to how children can be protected from online harassment and other things, as well as the fact that there are apps, as mentioned by my teammate Advait, like PhoneGo and other things, which make restrictions and guidelines much more accessible to children and to parents as well. Something that we need to take in mind is that these types of restrictions and guidelines can only be implemented if people are educated on the topic. As ma'am, you said that we are having this discussion about this in the ethics board today because there's a lack of this knowledge everywhere else, which is exactly why self-policing is also important. Self-policing is important, that somebody needs to acknowledge how they behave on the internet as well. Parental policing is also important, when parents allow their children and tell them, communicate with them. When you sit down with your child and you talk about, hey, what's going on in your social life? Do you have social media? What do you do on social media? Just asking them these questions calmly, asking them what they do, how they do it, they will open up to you more. What we want is that our children open up to us instead of random strangers on the internet. That is one of the main reasons why sexual advances towards children occur on internet chat rooms, because those predators lurk on the fears of those children, lurk on their stress, and that is exactly how these things happen. So we need to set this type of example in the children that they can trust their adults. We need to give them that sense of comfort, that sense of realization that nobody in the world will love them as much as their parents will, and nobody in the world will try to protect them as much as their parents will. And the same thing goes with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. COPPA is a very good organization site. If you want to read about it, you can read about how you can protect your child from these things and certain resources as well. Resources like phone apps, like talking to them, having timetables, a timetable, a physical timetable that people follow, like I want to study at this hour, I'm going to watch my phone at this hour. It's also very good for these children because it teaches them time management as well as teaching them how to not get addicted to a certain hobby rather than partaking in a lot of things at once in a day, which also makes their brain function more actively. I hope that answered your question. Thank you very much.
Very well tried, Team APS Srinagar. Ma'am, I request to ask for a query.
Thank you so much. I think now there I have got the clarity and the
You're very
audience also
close to
got the
that.
clarity. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now I request jury 2, Mr. Sanjay Yadav, to kindly pose your question to Team A.
Thank you. First of all, I want to compliment Team A, Team APS Srinagar, for their wonderful.
Sir, your voice is not audible, sir.
I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll begin with complimenting Team A for their wonderful derivations, the sequence, the way they have built the entire narrative, and of course, the discussion, the points brought by Team B, as well as their interaction on that. As I said, that something I should learn from that. So let me put a question where there's going to be learning for me also. And there will be some actionable for you as well. We come from time where I have seen youngers telling the elders that you knew about it, why didn't you tell us about it? That was an age where they would say that, all right, you should have told us about it because we were not aware of it. To the age we have come where children say, you don't know anything about it, so please don't preach us. We know better. That's the kind of information revolution which has taken place, the way information is available to the youngsters. Now, in that stage, when we are living, I will give you a simple case study when we talk about looking at a school scenario within your own sphere of influence. The parents and teachers may not be aware of digital devices being brought and used in school, but you yourself are better aware. Now, here is the ball in your court. As a team, which has an influence on your youngsters and which, when you are really concerned about everybody's well-being, what kind of actionable will you propose to bring in that kind of ethical uses of devices, making policy, elders involved, maybe some youngsters were also involved, very well-defined policy in place, but the implementation. And in implementation, how is the team of these youngsters going to create a guideline which will give us also an insight and which will be able to bring a real desirable solution, which is acceptable to us and which brings a good result also. So this is one thought. You can present your thoughts on that. Frame your own, I would say, policy or implementation plan and execution plan, and enlighten us about it, keeping the ethical issue in mind.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a very interesting question, I must say. Team A, are you ready? You will be given 4 minutes to confer, and after that, you're requested to post your answer, and your time starts now. Team APS, you are not supposed to switch off your cameras, please. I request you not to switch off your cameras, please. Your answering time is up now. Kindly present your answers.
First of all, thank you, sir, for asking us this vulnerable question. Now, to answer your question, the apps should set a limit and guideline according to a child's brain age. There should be a test on how developed a child's brain is, and then they should be setting the guidelines and limits accordingly. They should be conducting tests to know the child's brain age. And now I'll be passing on to Aisha to answer further points.
Thank you so much, sir, for your very interesting question, which really asks us about the margins that lie between older and younger people of this generation. Now, the thing is that when children are now having this gap between their older people, for example, they're saying, don't preach to us, you don't know anything about technology. We must ask ourselves, why do the old people not know about technology? It's because they are still dependent on the old forms of communication like letters, like landlines. That is how it works. Even my own grandmother, she does not even know how to use a phone, and she rarely calls me because of that fact. And see, that is what's causing the sever of communication in these ages. Because as family, as people who love each other, we need to have that sort of bond together which sticks to us. Now, the thing is that in school, which is an educational hub for people, where people of all types of ages exist, whether old teachers, oldsters, youngsters, seniors, and juniors, all of these types of people exist with different demographics and different interests and likes. So in that situation, you have a lot of liberty to make sure and have like a flexible landscape to do whatever you wish to do in order to make those people realize and have that awareness. And the first position for me would be is that it all starts off, it doesn't start off with the government or the school, it starts off with you first of all. It starts off with how you perceive the world and how you see it. Because, for example, parents, they should acknowledge that they are short on some things, they have shortcomings, as well as children. They should realize they also have shortcomings. And when these two people acknowledge their faults and flaws, they'll be able to communicate with each other in a much better way. Because when you do not acknowledge each other's faults, we're rather just letting them drag on, and that causes fights and chaos. And now in educational system, what we can do is that we can try to make interactive gameplay as well. We can try to make campaigns, workshops, because as the new policy has stated that tablets and new computer systems will be used in order to study about any subject which is coming up in India, recently going to come up in India. In that sense, how will the students be able to adapt? They will be given workshops. In the same way, why can't we give the workshops to the older individuals too? So in that sense, the older individuals and the younger individuals together should form a bond and try to talk about how the internet is progressing. Because in this day and age, the internet and so the mobile world cannot be ignored. It cannot be ignored because it has become such a prevalent parts of people's lives. So when we set down that example that this is how you use this is how you do that, then they will be more eager to learn because they feel as if they're not being shamed about that you don't know this, you don't know that. That causes a negative impact on somebody's thinking. And in that sense, when we try to encourage the people to learn about it in a better way, whether they be young or old, they'll do it in a much more freer light. They'll feel happier doing it. I hope that answered your question.
I must say it was a thought-provoking answer. Sir, I request you to ask for your query, sir.
All right. So one part where you did deliberate on the generation gap aspect of it. Yes, it becomes, I would say that we are a generation who has given complete, who has expressed complete faith and I would say empowerment. And we don't believe in learning from reverse mentorship. We always come up to our youngers to give us the solution. That is how everybody has developed. So just like there was a program which was on adult literacy where youngers would teach the elders, Same way, I'm sure that you have also taken this pride in explaining, be it to your parents or be it your grandparents, and in fact, take it up as a responsibility. Take it up as a responsibility that even if they show reluctance, you have to say, no, this is a life skill. You want us to develop so many life skills, so we want to develop this life. So this is one part of the ecosystem which is very, very essential. And the other aspect where I have mentioned it, and I would say that yes, if the teachers and the administrators from your school, if they are present, where I have expressed something in terms of a wish list, that you as the team would be able to indulge in creating a kind of IT or device users policy for your school, monitor it, at the same time help in implementing and create those deterrents which are very well required. So this is something which is for you to take away, and this is something where proactively you should involve. And maybe in future, if you are able to succeed, you can create some kind of a case study and do share it with us, which will be for the benefit of larger number. So I want to compliment this. Yes, you were able to deliberate within your understanding. You have been able to talk about the aspects. Only thing I mentioned it that as a peer group, what should be your role? So maybe you can give a little more insight that forget about the elders now, because when you are looking at the IT policy administrator or somebody who is helping in establishing it in the school system. So what would you proactively do with your peers to help the system move forward and bringing in that ethical sense of responsibility among them? This was the second aspect.
Thank you so much, sir. Team A, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I request you to please answer.
So, sir, you asked us about what type of enforcement we would take as a group of people who are in an administrative area like schools and whatnot. What we will do in that situation is that we, as a unity, as a force, we can drive a message into people's skulls. Because divided we stand, united we stand, divided we fall. That is a quote from Pink Floyd's song. Now, when we look at that, we have to see that there should be this type of we could even make clubs. For example, there could be a communications club inside of school which has those teachers who are specialized in computer sciences and whatnot to indulge there, and whenever the parents of the students want, they can come there and check the club out as well, because that would make it more interactive, that would make it more fun for the students and the parents as well. Because of course the generation gap that occurs, they have reluctance to accept their faults as well, because as we know, everybody has their own pride and that is the human nature. But the thing is, when we tell them that it's okay to have certain types of faults and shortcomings in your own understanding, then they'll be more happy and they'll be more willing to come forward and look for your opinion. Now, the thing is that in these types of enforcements and areas, what we can do is first we can form clubs. We can also make posters. We can make awareness, and especially in assemblies, in school assemblies, we see every single day people talk about a new topic. In that sense, we can talk about these types of things as well. We have workshops, we sit there, we talk about it, and we have this interactive thing, as well as the ethics bowl right now. When we are talking with you all, you guys, you all are our judges. You are people from every single age group we have seen. And right now we are talking about social media and how this generational gap is occurring, and we are conversing with each. Our own question was you telling us about what you thought, and we are now telling you about what we think. In that sense, it's giving this healthy conversation and environment for everybody to converse and ponder and wonder over. And that is exactly what the beauty of communication lies in. And that is exactly what has been hidden now. The beauty of communication has been hidden because of all of these new things like pride, prejudice, all of these things inside of as the mobile world advances. So we need to unravel that beauty again and make sure that people are able to talk with each other in a more freer way. I hope that answered your question.
Very well.
Team A, you have thoroughly prepared.
I totally agree that communication and making people aware about something is the key. You have seen that, be it the banks for safe banking, they keep sending those messages repeatedly. In the age of AI, what are the preventive disruptions? So what should be done? The awareness has to be spread. So this is one very important thing. But as I said, that let it be just a beginning. and I have empowered, I have given you this responsibility. So you are going to take it forward, and I would love to hear it back from your school and yourself, that how was it implemented, what challenges did you face? So that remains as an open actionable for your part. Very well done. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Jury 3, Mr. KB Jha, to kindly pose your question.
Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate Team A for articulating their thought process so beautifully and very nicely and very professionally. I should say that they are engaging in a dialogue which is very, very interesting and very important. So just two things I would like to ask them. It's a kind of a situation I would like to put to them. Now, you see, not only technology, for that matter, any other thing which is overused or used in excess or misused has its own disadvantages, and for that matter, anything has got its own pros and cons, and it is just how you use that technology or that gadget. Now, I would just give you a situation. For example, your school decides, schools have different clubs.
Your camera is not on, sir. I request you to switch on your camera, sir.
Just a second. There are lots of clubs in schools, like we have theater club, you have environment club, we have, musical club. So if your school plans to start, say, for example, digital detox club, it's very important for these to detox ourselves digitally for some time at least. And you and one of you and your friends, you have taken the lead of the club. How will you and your team ensure that your club really makes an impact, and this particular concept of the school or the idea of the school, that there should be some detox from the digital world, how we can make it very effective and practical? And second question is that how do you compare this addiction to mobile or cell phones with other sort of addictions? Do you think it is just like any other addiction, or do you think that this addiction is different from the other addictions that the students and people are exposed to? So I hope I have made myself clear.
Thank you, sir. Team A, are you ready with the questions? You will be given 4 minutes to confer, and after that, you're supposed to present your answer. And your time starts now. Team APS Srinagar, you are not supposed to discuss with any other person who is present there.
Yes, ma'am. So just our teammates, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much. Female, your time is up now. Kindly present your answer.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for such a thought-provoking and thought-provoking and intellectually stimulating question. Now, the answer to the first one is, in the detox club, we would start counseling sessions with between parents and children, or maybe just even children, because sometimes children take to the virtual reality to escape what is actually happening. Next, we would also start meditation classes so that they can take their mind off other things, so that do not let them make them take to social media, because it is stress mainly that makes people want crave that instant gratification that scrolling through social media gives them. Next, we can also create things or make them do things that usually makes them that they usually depend on their phones to do. Like if they have to research any topic, we could take them to the library, give them an encyclopedia. If they want to eat food, we would take them out to the restaurant, which sometimes they would be even 500 meters away from them, and yet they would still take out their phone, order it, spend goodness knows how much when they could have spent that amount of time going to that restaurant and placing their order. Now, to answer the second part of the question, I would hand it over to Aisha.
Thank you so much, sir, for your thought-provoking question, and I'm very excited to answer it as well, because this has been my main concern too. You asked, is mobile phone addiction like any other addictions, and if so, can we compare it? I would say yes. Mobile phone addiction is a lot like all the other addictions that we see, though it may not have any physical aspects like you may see, for example, in smoking. And with smoking addiction, people say that your lungs become bad. That is true. But when you look at somebody who is a mobile phone addict, you see outside they look okay. But on the inside, on that mental level of what happens to them, there are many things we should take into account for. For example, we can even compare mobile phone addiction to gambling. You know why? Because in gambling, we are giving away everything we have just for that simple sense of gratification that we want, that we got what we want. In the mobile world, and especially in social media, whenever we post a photo or a video, we want to gain as many likes as possible. And people even go as far as to killing other people in order to gain influence, in order to get that shred of popularity on the news. People are deprived of attention in their lives that they resort to these kinds of measures. And that causes so many psychological responses to occur. For example, people can go to such lengths in order to become popular, bullying other people, making fun of other people, even harming other people, and even committing suicide if they feel as if they're not popular enough among people. That is a very common case of suicide in young adolescents. And to say that this is not like any other addiction would be wrong, because it is the addiction to that instant gratification. That addiction
to when you open your phone and find something new, your brain feels so stimulated. Because whenever you look through your phone, your brain releases a hormone called dopamine. And when that dopamine is injected to you multiple times because you're scrolling on your phone, you get addicted to the feeling. And that addiction will be the compromisation of your melatonin, of all your other proper hormones, just like sleeping and the routine disruption that occurs too. With addiction, people are not able to sleep because they keep thinking about, oh my God, I need to smoke right now. I need to smoke right now. I need to drink right now. I need to gamble right now. And when they think about that, they're not able to sleep at night. They think, what if I just watch one more video? What if I just watch one more reel? That is so compulsive. And this is actually a phenomenon too. This is called compulsive mobile behavior. And this happens in roughly about 58% of teenagers worldwide. And it's also to say there is a phobia for not having your phone with you too. It's called anophobia, and it is widely prevalent throughout people. More than 40% of youth today have this phobia. So you can imagine how much it is affecting them. And the overusage of absolutely anything negative is not a hobby, it is an addiction. Thank you, and I hope it answered your question.
Very well, team. Amazingly answered. Sir, I request you to ask for your query. Sir, your voice is not audible, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
So you have articulated your thoughts very beautifully. But you see, in the first part, this was about detox club. Like, when you introduce something new, maybe detox clubs, maybe a new club in your school, how will you convince your classmates, your schoolmates, your friends that why is it required to have a detox club at all in the school? Why they say why all this? So what is the need of? How will you convince them that they have to be part of this club and this club should be as important and as functional as any other activity club in the school? So how will you convince for having this kind of club in the school, please? How will you convince your friends?
Thank you for the query. Thank you, sir.
Much for your question, sir. Sir, you asked how can we convince the people around us to join a detox club and why should they do so? Well, I'll give you an example of my old classmate. Her name was Sharani. The thing about her was that she was a very prominent student and she had a lot of intelligence. She did very well in her annual exams. The next year, what happened is that she got too engrossed in the mobile world and she got a new phone on for her birthday. And with that, what happened is that slowly but surely her educational progress also declined. She got bad marks on her UT1 as well as mediocre marks during her half-yearlies. When I talked to her about it, she told me that she believed it was because of her phone. Now, you see, if we were to present these examples to children and tell them how, when there is a limit to every single thing, there's a limit to playing games, there's a limit to studying, there's a limit for absolutely everything in this world. There's also a limit to having your phone in your hand. How much time can you spend on that phone? People can spend roughly up to 12 hours just scrolling, mindless. Their brain rots into thinking that this is what life is about, just scrolling endlessly on media. My teammate Idris in himself was addicted to this sandbox game called Minecraft. And during the pandemic, he would play it for almost 8 hours per day. If we were to give these examples to people, that time will never come back. It will always remain constant and will never stop for anyone. We need to create that sense of realization in the people and realization in your classmates as well, that what the phone will be doing to you is that it's causing your attention span to also go down. It's causing the attention span because as a research from the Northeastern University, Professor Kart Kramer, he said that the average attention span of somebody has gone from 2.5 minutes to 45 seconds in the past 20 years. Just 45 seconds of attention. Can you imagine the impact that it cause on people? So that is what we need to tell them. And also because anxiety can also spur from online chat rooms and whatnot. That is the main prominent thing. According to the STEM 4 ED and body image survey, which asked over 1,024 young adolescents about what they thought the effects that social media had on them, more than 60% said that they face anxiety, 50% said that they face loss of hope and depression, and 10 to 15% even started misusing drugs and alcohol. It means that what we need to do is strike that sort of realization in the people's hearts that what they need to do, try to detox themselves from what the world has shown. Because virtual reality is that virtual. It can never be reality. and what they indulge themselves in, they will soon become. But because, as Mahatma Gandhi said, a man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. I hope that answered your question.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think what is more required here is, your that self-regulation and self-discipline, and not only in schools, I think in your homes also, you can create some internet-free corners where there's absolutely zero connectivity to the outer world, and you'll feel that, those 20 minutes, even if you start with 10 minutes, that is fine. Later on with 1 hour, 2 hours, and you'll feel that you are not in touch with the outside world, but you are always in touch with yourself, and you introspect deeply into yourself and speak to yourself, and that is what is, the self introspection, and that is what will lead to self development. So congratulations, and thank you very much for articulating your replies. So congratulations, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Team A and all the respected judges. That was an insightful deliberation of thoughts. Ethics determines actions and choices and suggests difficult priorities. Team B, hold your seats. It's time for you to present your inquisitive thoughts for the next ethical case study. Round 2 begins. And the case study for Team APS Nagrota is as follows. The title of the case study is Feeding the Masses. A bioengineering company offers a developing nation plagued by chronic hunger a genetically modified corn seed. This seed boosts dramatic yield changer. However, concerns simmer. Some citizens worry about the long-term environment impact of GM crops and potentially biodiversity loss. Farmers vary of dependence on a single controlled seed source, express concerns about corporate control over their livelihood. Cultural groups grapple with the ethical implications. They view altering crops as tampering with the centuries-old culture of the region. The government must decide, do they embrace the GM seeds, potentially alleviating hunger for many, but risk unforeseen environmental consequences and clash with cultural beliefs? Or do they reject the technology, clinging to traditional but leaving citizens vulnerable to food shortage? So my question is feeding people by any possible means justified in given situation? How can cultural sensitivities be balanced with the need of food security? I hope the questions are clear to you, Team B.
Yes,
ma'am.
You will be given 8 minutes to present your valuable thoughts, and your time starts now.
Okay, ma'am. Our environment is not just a backdrop for our human existence. Instead, it is what that sustains the lives of us all. With these words, we greet the intellectual panel of jury as well as wish warm greetings to the team participating in this ethical contest. Being on one's ground when this case was being presented, we find that each of our actions has a profound consequence on our delicate ecosystem. The introduction to GM has led to disruption in the intricate web of life that sustains us all. We must be aware of the long-term consequences of each and everything that tempers the design of our nature. We must be aware of gene contamination, loss of biodiversity, as well as loss of environment, where there are just some few risks that are associated with these GM. We cannot sacrifice the life of a planet just for some mere gains. Instead of following technology, we must use substantial agriculture practices that align with the harmony of our nature. Considering the recent case of USA in 2021, the unauthorized growth of crops led to gene contamination, leading to controversies not only in the country but the world itself. This alone is enough for this ethical justification. But now, to further elaborate, I would like to pass on to my team.
Thank you so much. On top of what my fellow teammate has just said, I would like to add that it leads to loss of biodiversity and seed sovereignty. GM crops with traits like herbicide resistance can lead to decrease in crop diversity, posing a threat to long-term food security. Furthermore, dependence on a single controlled seed source puts farmers on the mercy of corporations, jeopardizing their traditional practices and livelihood. Also, I would like to state that Seed, the Untold Story, expresses the struggles of small farmers against corporate control of seeds. A real life example can be stated that since the introduction of BT corn, genetically modified corn, has led to many significant problems and decline in monarch butterfly population, especially in North America. Monarch caterpillars rely on milkweed, a plant that sometimes take up pollen from nearby BT cornfields. This pollen can be harmful to the caterpillars, hindering their development and contributing to population decline. A documentary, Monarch Butterfly Wings of Change, which was made in 2010, expresses the plight of the monarch butterfly and the potential link between the decline and the BT corn. The documentary highlights the complex ecological and the unforeseen consequences that BT corn can have on these species. Thank you so much, and I would like to pass on this case to my fellow teammate for further deliberation.
Thank you so much. I believe that while there are these controversies and debates that pose challenges for the use of GM crops, I believe that these are secondary to a larger issue. We already live in a world that produces enough food to feed everyone. Thus, hunger results from inequity of food, not food shortage. Unequal distribution of quality food among communities suffering for poverty is the primary culprit in today's world hunger, not abundance or quantity of food stocks. The United Nations Global Goal for Sustainable Development address world hunger in Goal 2, Zero Hunger, which aims to end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. This goal lays a foundation to combating world hunger by a multi-pronged approach, including political action and reduction of violence, agricultural and technical innovations, efforts to end poverty, and education initiatives. Now I would like to pass the case to my fellow teammate to delve into it deeper.
Thank you so much. I believe in what you just said. But I would also like to add that addressing global hunger requires a multifaceted approach beyond relying solely on genetically modified GM foods. Sustainable alternatives like agroecological practices, promoting local crops, and improving food distribution infrastructure are crucial. Documentaries like Farmageddon and Kiss the Ground showcase successful, sustainable agricultural models. The debate over GM foods underscores ethical concerns and the importance of respecting individuals' right to choose what they consume. However, the root cause of hunger lies in inequity rather than solely technological solutions. Despite producing enough food to feed everyone, hunger persists due to unequal access driven by poverty, political instability, and natural disasters. International initiatives like the United Nations Goal 2, Zero Hunger, prioritize sustainable agricultural, political action, and educational endeavors to address hunger's underlying causes. Organizations such as UNICEF and the World Food Programme play pivotal roles in these efforts, working to build resilient food systems. By fostering sustainable practices that respect cultural values and biodiversity, societies can ensure food security while safeguarding the well-being of future generations. It is essential a multi-pronged approach that acknowledges the complexity of hunger and aims to build equitable food systems. Though collaborative build equitable food systems, we can create a future where everyone has access to the nourishment they need. Now, I would like to conclude with a poetry in four.
इंटरनेट कनेक्शन चला गया Team B, are you there? You still have 2 minutes. Kindly conclude.
This with a poetry. In forest deep, whispers untold, each leaf a story, each stream bold. We are custodians tasked with preserve. It is the earth's harmony that we must conserve. Thank you, and this case has seen an end.
Team B, that's all from your side? Thank you so much. It was a wonderful deliberation of thoughts. Now, Team A, you have 4 minutes to confer, after which you will present your summary and will pose 1 or 2 questions to Team B. Kindly note that you have to pose both the questions and your time starts now. The time is up now. Be ready to present your comments.
पृथ्व्यां त्रीणि रत्नानि जलमन्नं सुभाषितम् मूढ़ै पाषाण खंडेषु रत्न संज्ञा विधीयते. It means that the real gems on earth without a price are food, water, and wise advice. And yet there are fools on the earth who think that scraps of stones are jewels. Thank you for your valuable insights, Team B. But You didn't mention a point, the most important point about the food shortage. As mentioned in the case study, the developing nation was facing food scarcity. Food scarcity is a serious issue and it directly correlates with the health of the masses. And if the health of the masses is affected, then the productivity of that country is also affected. Now, Aisha will give the answers of the questions.
Thank you so much for your valuable insights, Team B. You gave us a lot of information and a new perspective to look on. But there's something you have to answer. You can compromise the lives of so many people just because you feel as if you will be dependent on a bioengineering company. It's also the fact that you mentioned that it's also the fact that you say there are goals set out for to end poverty, to end hunger. This has been set out by SDGs as well. And you say that there is a plethora of food around the world which people can donate to these poor countries. But have they? Has poverty ended and has hunger ended in this way? Let's take Africa, for example. It is one of the poorest continents in the world, and it has been facing crisis for over 30 years. Congo, look at Congo. It has the worst food security of the entire world globally. And now, first world countries like America, Canada, and so much more have an abundance of food to supply in their silos, but they don't. They simply don't. Do you think that these correlations between the countries, do you think that these countries care enough to look after each other? There will always be consequences and there will always be arguments. There will always be tension among these groups. Now you also mentioned if people will remain hungry in the nation, then their bodies will grow weak. When their bodies will grow weak, they will not go and go work in the field. When they do not go work in the field, there will be no more produce. And when there is no more produce, then where is the food? There will be no food to consume. And there's a sub-cycle that emerges from this too. That it's the fact that when there's no more food, there is no more economic growth. And economic growth directly correlates back to food security. Food security is not about agriculture. India is one of the world's largest agrarian economies, and it only ranked 68 out of the 112 countries present in the 2022 Food Security Index. Why so? Because the food security here is weak. In that country, you cannot simply say that we need to increase food security. How will you increase food security when there's no agriculture in your country? If there's no agriculture, how will people be employed? How will money come into your country? In that sense, if you want to save your country by doing environmental factors and whatnot, you're simply just compromising the lives of everybody else. People deserve to live in a way. People deserve to live with dignity, with food, with water. They need to have a means of livelihood. That's in the constitution as well. But if that's not available to the people of your nation, why would they follow you? Why would they follow the government when they know the government is not doing anything in order to protect them? This is the once in a lifetime opportunity, yet you still choose to reject it. Now, Idris will walk you through the questions.
Thank you, Team B, for your valuable insight.
Your voice is not audible, Peter.
Thank you, Team B, for your valuable insights.
Come closer, please.
Not audible.
Give me the question. It's okay, I'll answer it.
Thank you, Team B, for your valuable insights. Your opinions opened my eyes to a whole horizon of opinions. But in your presentation, you mentioned that about agroecological activities and practices so that you are going to reject the offer, but you're still going to practice. I am going to ask, how will that help you? Your people are dying, your nation is starving, the nation is in a crisis, and you're just going to let this offer walk away. And for the first question, what will be the statistical changes in the biological, the financial, and economical statistics of the country if the offer is refused? For the second question, I would like to pass on to Advait.
Thank you, Team B. Thank you, Team B.
Kindly adjust your audio set, beta.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Team B, for your insightful opinion on this case. Now, our team's second question is
Team A, your time is up now.
The second question is, if your country relies on the past, then how will it strive forward in its agriculture practices and become a developed nation? Thank you.
Team B, I hope the questions are clear to you. So now you have 4 minutes to confer, and after that, you have 5 minutes.
Not clear.
Not clear. Team B, are you clear with the questions?
Not clear at all. Ma'am, can you please repeat that?
I request Team A to kindly repeat their questions, please.
Do you have
Okay, so the first question is what may be the statistical changes in the biological, financial, and economical state of the country if you were to do something like this because the lives are being compromised and nothing seems to work? The second question is if the offer is rejected, then how will your country strive forward in its agriculture practices if it continues to stay in the past? Thank you.
I hope you're clear with the questions, Team B. Yes, and your conferring time starts now. Team B, your time is over now. Kindly present your answers and your time starts now.
Yes, ma'am. Dear fellow team, thank you for your questions first and foremost. You spoke about food security is lying in every single country. Africa, as you said on the considerate example, they have the worst security of food. But many companies are planning towards the organic farming method. Considering the primitive units of country, that food security still existed from that time only. Take the example of Supreme Court. The mustard seed, a memorandum was there showing concern towards this issue as well. Then how do your points justify this thing itself? Passing on to my team.
Well, I don't believe that combating hunger can just have one solution. 70% of the world's hungry people are in areas of conflict and violence. Most notably, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has caused a ripple effect around the world's raising pricing of wheat, grain, etc. As the ongoing war has limited or entirely disrupted access to vital food products. The climate crisis is also one of the biggest driver of hunger in the world, undermining people's ability to feed themselves and their families through destruction of lives, crop, and income, and the use of GM seeds further add fuel to climate change. Alongside it decreases soil fertility, degrades groundwater level, and damages the environment as a whole. And one of your speakers mentioned that India is one of the biggest agriculture economies. And then she said that in India, agriculture is not fully developed. Well, my dear friend, more than half of the population of India is involved in agricultural practices. Aren't you aware of that? And just for some short-term benefits, how can we sacrifice our environment? How can we keep degrading it just for some short-term benefits? Answer that.
I would also like to state that responsible bodies like UNESCO will look into matters like these about food shortage by developing schemes, and also traditional agricultural practices, organic farming, crop rotation can be practiced. Statistical changes are noted by the Prime Minister, and he has advised that home and organic products should be used. Multiple aspects like agricultural practices of old times will help. Use of manure and organic products are essential. Passing it on to my teammate.
Yes, I strongly believe that too. And I would also like to say that the GM has a pivotal role on degrading this environment. And if the environment does not exist, then how will we do farming? Also, we will look into the matter of the golden rice GM crop, which has a huge resistance in Philippines. Developed countries are also preferring to go organic now. Also, we can also look into sustainable cropping factors like crop rotation, which will also increase productivity without using GM crops. Africa has used drought-resistant crops and sustainable farmings to increase their productivity. And also, Russia has donated them fertilizers in 2022. Indian Supreme Court also plays a pivotal role in addressing concerns surrounding these crops. Thank you.
Very well articulation of thoughts. Now I request the panel of judges to pose their questions. I request jury 1, Mrs. Himangi Arora, ma'am, to kindly pose your question.
Am I audible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, APS Nagrota, your dialogue was really insightful. And I would like to put up a point here that, as the case study says, that it was a chronic hunger that the country was facing, right? In that situation, is it not the priority that need to be set before going forward to the research work? Because the people who are striving for basic needs, the first and the foremost priority is to combat that. And it can be anywhere, not just a country, it can be anywhere. Even when you are studying or in a single unit of a family, you need to understand that science will definitely play a role. But what they are suggesting and what they are asking for is that when the country is striving for hunger since ages, is the first and the foremost step to be a scientifically appropriate propagation or to combat it, along with being aware of the long-term goals to be achieved. What is to be done?
Thank you, ma'am. Team B, the rules are same again, and I hope you're clear with the question.
Yes.
Okay, your conferring time starts now. After that, you're supposed to present your answers, and your time starts now. Team B, your time is up now. Kindly present your answers, please.
Respected ma'am, thank you for such an insightful question. Firstly, we are also firm in the point that people of a country are suffering from this chronic hunger as it is persistent and shows lack of food leading to malnutrition. Being a developed country, we need to be sure of every single step that has to be took to ensure the long-term benefits as well. To cite a recent example, a rural family in an urban area struggles for basic needs and access to food on a daily basis. We need to take various steps to ensure that such incidents are not occurring, but we need to keep in mind our environment. After all, the earth has enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. Passing on to my team.
Thank you. I would like to state some substitutes for GM crops that are beneficial for the environment. Something like traditional breeding methods, investing in agricultural practices to increase fertility can be used. Also, government can provide farmers and small farmers with better quality seeds. Also, environment and saving it is our foremost responsibility and a long-term goal. Science has advanced and created substitutes that are beneficial for the environment and for the general population. Passing it on to my fellow teammate.
I would like to add that I believe GM crops are really expensive. So that country is facing such a crisis, I don't understand how they will purchase these crops in the first place. And in alternative to that, they can take support from various helpful organizations like UNESCO and WHO, who have already played pivotal roles in helping many countries going through a crisis. For example, Malawi for addressing vitamin A deficiency, and to cite a recent case, Ukraine.
Yes, I strongly believe in that too. And our answer is firmly focused on humanity. So, if there is no environment which is harmed by these GM crops, how will there be agriculture? And if there is no agriculture, food shortage is the ultimate result. So, thus, in order to face chronic hunger, there can also be some sustainable agricultural practices without using GM crops, such as crop rotation, conservation tillage, water management, seed selection, breeding, and improved storage and distribution. All of these will help in increased productivity. We must also focus on the Green Revolution Act. It was focused on increasing the productivity of GM crops, but it ultimately failed because of concentration in a few states and also due to harming the environment. The public distribution centers, it is a general presumption that are sometimes corrupt, and that is where there is not an equal distribution of crops to each and every citizen of the society. Ma'am, we hope that our answer justifies your question and that you're content with it. But we would like to answer your query if you have any. Thank you.
Very well tried, Team B. Ma'am, I request to ask for your query.
All right. So when you say that it is a long-term goal that need to be, taken care of, don't you think it's a government's responsibility that they should look forward to combat to this? And if that way, what it shall be? Just going with the organization like UNESCO, if it would have been so easy, the country should not have been facing a chronic hunger. Secondly, the farmers, if not being able to reach out the potential outcome or the crop yield, there can be a possibility. There can be a possibility because it's a case study, right? So there is definitely a possibility of the environmental parameters or factors that are playing very crucial role. So in that case, if it is about GM seeds to be provided by a developed country to the developing countries, there are certain diplomatic areas to be monitored minutely before taking a decision. So what would be the government's role? That is something which need to be checked upon. Right, that is what I have as a submission. Rest, of course, you people can do the research and look forward to something wherein we can have a ratio appropriate where we need to prioritize things, take standard decisions and go forward. And this always happens. There is always a choice. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I request the second jury, Mr. Sanjay Yadav, sir, to pose your question.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
All right. So very scientifically driven discussion which is happening. And of course, I must say that futuristic, because we are all going to see this happening together. Moving from the age, as a layman, I will look at an example that, all right, everybody is well aware of it, that you must have a certain exposure of sunlight to meet your vitamin D requirement. And there comes a situation where somebody is asked that, yes, your vitamin D deficiency can be met with the help of a supplement. So this is one practical aspect of life which we are living and facing and seeing. It has its proven benefit. It has given health benefit to people. This is one where we are talking about the supplements which are not natural products are still able to meet the requirement of people. On the other side, something which was being researched has led to a pandemic in the form of COVID. The globe has experienced that. When we are looking at technology, when we are looking at biological and chemical development which is happening, it can be a boon. At the same time, it can be a curse. So now is the ethics. Now this is where the ethics, real question of ethics comes into it. One, when we are looking into the traditional agricultural practices which have been happening, and be it the economy or be it looking at the bigger requirement of the ecosystem also, biosystem also. So in that situation, how do you see the role of these GM crops? What will be the future? Will there be challenges, or what needs to be brought forward in discussion of that? And second thing, of course, is in terms of the health concern, because when something which is being developed in this manner, what kind of health challenges it can impose. So these are two areas where I would like to have your research and your insight, if you can tell me. I hope the questions are clear to everyone.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Team B, are you clear with the questions?
Yes.
You will get 4 minutes to confer, and after that, you have to present your answers. And your conferring time starts now. Team APS Srinagar, kindly switch on your cameras, please. Team B, your time is up now. Kindly present your answers.
Yes, ma'am. Respected sir, thank you for such a persuasive question. First and foremost, we strongly agree to the statement it is a boon and a curse. The use of some GM crops can certainly have negative impact on non-targeted organisms as well as water ecosystems. But on the contrary, an ethical situation where some uses are good while some are to make money and some improve the situation. So it is very likely to say they are a boon and a curse on the same point. We cannot ignore the adverse effect of these medicines as well. For instance, GM soya that is used to make healthier oil is commercially grown and available. But when people consume this, they saw many side effects. How is this explainable then? Passing on to my team.
Thank you. I would like to start with the quote that environment is where we all belong. Let us do our part and take care of it. Anything that is genetically modified is man-made and thus harms the environment in some way or the other. GM crops reduce fertility, need more irrigation, which leads to water shortage and adds to the plight of farmers. GM crops has led to new diseases and allergies like nut allergy that children are facing now. These problems did not occur earlier when traditional farming methods were used. I would like to pass on this case to my fellow teammate.
Yes, with the advancements of science, yes, we have been provided with various platforms in order to increase our convenience. Like the example of supplements you mentioned in order to cure deficiency issues. In the latter stages of life, of course, we need supplements to cure our diseases that we face. But they do have side effects which further weaken our immune system. The reason why such diseases are being seen in us and even like in small children is because of these usage of inorganic substances. Passing it on to my team.
Yes, exactly. And I would also like to add that even though traditional agriculture along with technological implementations has resulted into many productive factors, but they should be limited use because it must be eco-friendly after all. The health is our major issue, and these supplements are not organic at all, which will have a detrimental effect on our body. For example, the muscle supplements that we use may even lead to cardiac arrest. Also, we take the case of hybridized crops. They are grown faster and are better in and are grown faster because of such supplements. But their taste and their nutritive values are just not the same with the organic ones. I hope our answer has been to your content. And if you have any query, we would like to answer that. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well portrayed, Team B. Sir, I request you to ask for your query, please.
Thank you. So, two things I just want to, in your continued effort of researching about it and learning about it. One, of course, the necessity is the mother of invention when we say it. So, living in times where demands have become much more than the supply. And that is why everybody has started looking at alternative, because if we are looking at SDGs, which are the goals which have been set and where everybody has to be fed. So that's where you have to create a mix and match balance. That's where alternatives are researched. That's where alternatives become necessary. So one, we have to look at the necessity aspect of it. I don't know how many of you participated in one of the recent campaign which was started some time back by Shri Sadhguru. That was Save Soil campaign. And when you look at the aspects which were being discussed, that how soil quality will affect and how it can lead to a situation where this could become a bigger crisis. So another area where I want you to research, it's just the real impact. The facts should be brought to everybody's notice that these alternative mechanisms of developing crops, be it GM method, how are they really impacting the crop? Is the soil, quality, because that recycling and that maintaining the nutrients in the soil, be it removing the carbon dioxide component from the atmosphere and absorbing by the soil, that can also help you in regulating certain ecological balances also. So what is desirable, what I could understand, that yes, everybody has tried to do a bit of a research, but this is still an area where you will be amazed to look at the real thoughts which have happened. Yes, the research which is being brought. So at the moment, it has R&D component invested in it. At the moment, it is predominant by multinationals, you may say, so that this can, to certain extent, impact the economical concerns also. But a practice which is there, obviously, when we say that every research which is being done is to improve the quality of human life and to meet the demands. So from that perspective, try and see everything has good in it. What is the good which needs to be sustained, and what is something which can pose a challenge beyond our control. Don't ever let it go to that extent that it becomes a challenge beyond our control. Very well done. All the best.
Only research on this.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now it's time for our third jury, Mr. KV Jad, to kindly pose your question.
Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate all the team members for their excellent performance. You see, everybody knows that the population is increasing at a phenomenal speed, and the resources cannot keep pace with the same speed as the population is increasing. So naturally, science and technology has to intervene, and we cannot keep our population starved. So my question to the team is that, for example, if you are part of a NGO working for agriculture sector, particularly in rural areas, how will you, whenever we introduce any technology, any scientific, there are a lot of apprehensions, and there are successes, there are failures, and there are lots of misconceptions and doubts. So, for example, if you are part of some NGO, how will you try to, create a sort of public opinion among people, among farmers, among agriculture workers about GMO, and how we can address their apprehensions, their fears about genetically modified these seeds and plants, so that they are fully aware about what it is, how it is to be used, and how there are a lot of misconceptions about it, and how that can be addressed if you are maybe running an NGO who is into agriculture sector. So how will you create that sort of public opinion among people about NGO, these GMOs, and the apprehensions they have about this and misconceptions? I hope I'm clear about. I hope my question is clear to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for raising this question full of awareness. Team B, I hope you're clear with the question. Team B, I hope you're clear with the question.
Yes, ma'am.
You will be given 4 minutes to confer. After that, you are requested to present your answers, and your conferring time starts now. Team B, your time is up now. Kindly present your answers, please.
Respected sir, thank you for such an insightful as well as elaborative question. First and foremost, being put in the shoes of an NGO employee who belongs to a universal, versatile society, this NGO is into several critical areas such as agriculture, environment, rural development, education, and women empowerment. The effort of UVS is directly over tackling misconceptions and creating awareness towards the newer technology to the farmers, taking in consideration the increasing population. After all, the first step towards change is awareness. The second step is acceptance, and awareness precedes change on a greater aspect. Now, passing on to my team.
Thank you, sir. I would like to answer that if I was part of an NGO, I would have looked into family planning, birth death rates, as they should be analyzed to control the population. Awareness should be created and people should be educated. Campaigns can be one solution to this. Oftentimes, we see that government stocks of grain is increasing and the PDA system fails to provide people with enough food due to corruption. Passing it on to my fellow teammate.
So if I was an NGO, I would take necessary points or steps in order to aware people about the advantages or disadvantages about how these genetically modified crops affect the environment by educational programs and etc. I would make sure to inform people about the fact that they're beneficial but can have a catastrophic effect if misused. Passing it on to my team.
Yes, and I would also like to cite some real life examples where NGO have contributed in this situation, such as in East Africa, the 1 Acre Fund initiation, where the farmers were given an $80 seed and also a fertilizer loan. ActionAid was also globally initiated, where it focused on empowering women and gender equality in agriculture. Also, I feel like there should be first self-discipline. We must also learn how to treat the environment like we want others to treat the environment with care and also by saving it for our future generations. Also, in order to evade such myths and misconceptions, the Indian Agricultural Research Institute can also produce some FAQ sheets and also promote fair trade and labeling and research and innovation. There can also be educational awareness and campaigns or drives. Sir, I hope our answer has been to your content. And if you have any query, we would like to answer it. Thank you. Thank you.
Very well answered, Team B. Sir, I request you to ask for your query.
You see, I think one of your friends, she has correctly hit nail on the head that basically root cause of all these problems is population explosion only. That's why science and technology had to intervene. But since that is something which is a long-term planning, it cannot happen immediately. But at the same time, how will we make them aware about GMOs and the ethical practices that need to be followed when we are having these GMO products and all that. So how will you, address their apprehensions and their doubts about, because see, we cannot rubbish technology. Technology has to intervene. Technology has to be there. We cannot, if we just leave them on their own, okay, let us go on for organic farming. That is fine. It will happen very gradually. But at least, we can make them aware about that, how to make your products and how to go for ethically and scientifically better products, better seeds, that cannot harm our health and environment both. So that is how, because awareness is very important. Sometimes because of some WhatsApp university messages, we get to know some, wrong information or something. So it is very important that as a responsible NGO, you do your research properly, that what is GMO, what is the need of it, what are the ethical, shortcomings, how we can impact, it can have social impact, and then make a small, as a pilot, we can make one target group and make that awareness program as school children successful. So thank you very much for your response. I think you are into the depth of the issue, and I'm sure in days to come, you'll definitely do a lot of more research on it and see that this children, students, teachers, parents, and community at large is, more and more diverted towards organic farming and organic products. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you,
For all
sir.
the research upon this.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
For your kind words. Now it's time to say that I must say it was a fruitful and the intellectual discussion of the day. It's my pleasure to be part of such amazing discussions. Before we compile the results, I would like to thank each one of you for making this day full of enlightenment, cultivating thoughts, and enriching intellectual ethics. Now we have a 15 minutes break for the result compilation. Before we go on a 15 minutes break, I would like to request all the juries of the day to kindly send the results to the coordinator of the events personally. I'm sure you all are eagerly waiting for the results. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
हाय सर। हाँ जी सर। इनपुट्स इसके दीपक के लिए। क्या टाइम दिया है मेरे को दीपक से मेरी बात है तो उसने कहा था मैम 2 बार चेंज है। चेक करो कुछ मतलब ग्रूविंग है क्या है वो। आपने शायद बोला होगा ना जब तो तब तक उसने बनाया था और मैंने उससे पूछा था उसने कहा था मुझे मना करा था कपल करने तो मैंने नहीं बनाया। हाँ
Thank you for your patience. We welcome you all again. In life's journey, pursuit of dreams, success gleams in determined streams. With ethics and courage, we strive high. With wings of efforts, we touch the sky. Challenges may test our will, yet each setback fuels our skill. Through failure, dark and daunting strife, we find the strength to truly thrive. Success is not just gold and fame, but finding purpose, living a name. In every step, the lessons on success is growth truly known. So we have the results with us. Now I request coordinator of the event, Mr. Munish Chopra, to kindly announce the results.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. And today's match is a very tough match. Both the teams really played well, and we are actually have the scores with us. It was really a very tough competition between APS Nagrota and APS Srinagar. APS Nagrota scores 155.5 out of 190, and APS Srinagar 156. So with 0.5, APS Srinagar wins this match. So heartiest congratulations to APS Srinagar. Wish you all the best, and thank you so much, Indrapal ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Heartiest congratulations to Team APS Srinagar. Team B, don't lose your hope. There is always a next time. The aim of Ethical Bowl is not only winning or losing. It is challenging you to be a better person. Remember, what matters is your journey you have traveled, not the destination. I pay my regards to everyone present here and upgrading my path of learning. It was my pleasure to be part of such highly intellectual sessions of AWWA Northern Command Ethics Bowl 2024. Team APS Srinagar, see you in finale. Prepare well for the next match. All the very best. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. And we can't wait to show you the best that we've got in the finals. And APS Nagrota, you did absolutely amazing. Your presentation was flawless. And we would like to thank the judges as well. They're just feeling so jubilant right now. I can't even formulate my sentences. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.